I want y'all to envision something. Going to the Everglades on a trip with a guide. You're excited to see all the native animals, but instead all you do is run into a bunch of invasive Burmese pythons, overpopulated hogs, and overpopulated coyotes. But raising hands, tell me how would this make you
It'll make me nervous seeing all those animals together that shouldn't be together in one area.
feel? Anybody else?
I personally would feel terrified knowing such a large snake lives in the same state that I do.
Well, the truth is, this is very likely to happen if we don't protect the Florida Panther from going extinct. My name is Raheem Northwood, and I'm here to talk to you about the endangerment of the Florida Panther and why we should care whether they die or not. I do want to open the speech up with a few questions. Raise your hand if you've ever been in anyone wilderness in Florida.
I have been in a lot of wilderness, Florida, of course, because it's my home state. And I think it's very beautiful. I think it's more beautiful than any other state I've visited. And I've had a lot of good experiences, of course, swimming in the springs, obviously going to the beach. But I would say there's been a couple bad experiences too, with especially coyotes. Coyotes are always doing something wrong. And I have seen a couple pythons, and the pythons are really scary because they are a lot bigger than these things. They can get to all the way from I'm pretty sure it's 13 to 20 something feet. So that's very scary. But honestly, other than that, I do think the wilderness is very beautiful and something that is worth protecting.
Okay. Now, what do y'all all know about the Florida Panther?
I know that it's a solitary creature that lives most of its life alone, but it does get together to mate and raise kids, but it lives most of its life alone.
Okay, last question. Why should we care about the Florida Panther? Why do y'all think we should care?
I think we should care not just about the Florida panther, but about any species, especially a predator in the ecosystem, because without it, the ecosystem can just be unbalanced. Stuff could go wrong.
Okay, all these are great answers, and all these are reasons why we should keep the Florida Panther safe. There are three main things I'll be talking about today on why we should keep the Florida Panther safe and why they're important to keep safe and avoid them from becoming extinct ultimately. The first thing we'll be talking about is how it protects the ecosystem. The second thing we'll be going over is how it lowers highway wildlife collision. And the very last thing we'll be talking about is how it lowers the spread of diseases. Why don't we start with how it protects the ecosystem? It protects the ecosystem by the first thing it does is when it catches prey, it leaves behind all types of leftovers for other animals to eat. Florida Panther goes extinct, a lot of these animals would end up having a little bit more trouble finding food. Another reason is that the Florida Panther requires at least 200 square feet of territory. This gives a lot of homes to other animals, making the Florida Panther kind of like an umbrella species. And the last thing that it does to protect the ecosystem is it limits overgrazing. Florida Panthers eat stuff like boars and deer and rabbits and all types of stuff. They eat grass, yes.
I'm just curious, what is overgrazing before you move on?
Overgrazing is when animals eat too much of the vegetation that's around them, and the vegetation ends up dying out.
Okay, thank you.
So when the Florida Panther eats these deer, rabbits, hogs, this limits overgrazing, ultimately preventing it from getting too extreme. While we're on the topic of animals and overpopulation, why don't we talk about highway wildlife collisions? How do the Florida Panthers impact wildlife collisions? Is what you need to be asking right now. Well, one thing it does is it, like the other side of talking about, it manages overpopulation. It eats deers and hogs, which are the main reasons that wildlife collisions happen. I want to go over a couple statistics, interesting statistics. Deers make up 67 to 80% of all wildlife collisions. Hogs make up 9.5 all large animal collisions. This leads to less collisions. Considering Florida panthers eat these animals, this obviously causes less collisions, rather than them becoming overpopulated and running out of the road. So the last thing I want to talk about is how it prevents the spread of diseases. Diseases are carried a lot by hogs and mosquitoes. It's very important. Considering panthers eat hogs, it lowers diseases. EEE is one of the diseases these hogs carry. It is a rare but dangerous disease with a 95% fatality rate. Yes?
What is EEE?
EEE stands for Eastern Equine
Queen.
Equine Encephalitis.
Oh, thank you.
And another thing that the Florida panther prevents is WNV, which stands for West Nile viruses. Mosquitoes carry a lot of this. This is the main disease mosquitoes carry. Considering, panthers eat boars. Mosquitoes get a lot of diseases from boars. Boars don't directly give humans and other animals a disease. It's mostly just mosquitoes. What we just talked about today was 3 different things. How the Florida panther protects the ecosystem, how it prevents highway collisions, and how it lowers the spread of diseases. Thank you for listening to me speak today. Have a nice rest of your day.
You know,